So, Robert, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
To solve the real estate supply issue we have now, should Canada stop immigration?
Well, they should stop too much immigration, and they should stop too much immigration to cities and towns that have no place to put these too many people, and they should know better than to ever invite them if there's nowhere for them to go.
And that's what we're going to be talking about on this episode of Real Estate Chat with
Robert Eade.
and Jean de Perez. So, Robert,
Yeah.
I am an immigrant. My parents are immigrants, and at some point, I guess
My
everybody.
grandparents came over from England and Scotland and what have you. Sure, everybody came here from somewhere.
Exactly. Everybody who's watching this episode of Real Estate Chat, unless you can genuinely say you were here in Canada before Canada was Canada, is an immigrant. And the policies about immigration and whatnot may seem like a sensitive issue when you say something as extreme as stop immigration. But we're going to be quoting from an article today, which was in the Financial Post, where they're not quite saying stop immigration, but they're saying on the other extreme, Canada has no plans to decrease immigration amid the housing criticism. So new minister, as you know, Trudeau, our prime minister, Mr. Trudeau, fired a whole bunch of ministers and inputted a whole bunch of new ones in. And according to the new immigration minister, he's open to having conversations about it, but there's no plans to stop it. And in fact, there's an expected announcement of Canada's annual immigration plan later this year. We'll link this article in the description that they will welcome in the next 3 years. Per the current plan, country aims to invite 465,000 permanent residents in 2023, 485,000 in 2024, 500,000 in 2025. And yet in the same article, you have TD, a Canadian bank, and based on their report saying that the housing shortage could widen by an additional 500,000 units within 2 years if immigration continues at its current rate. And we'll send you we'll link the article so you can read about that. But I've also heard that in the US, their immigration is nowhere close to the number of immigrants coming into Canada. Robert, if we want future generations of Canadians to continue facing a supply shortage issue and pay the high prices that they're doing now, should we just keep bringing people in even though there's no housing for them?
Well, quick answer is no. So if you do any kind of an alteration to the status quo, you've got to consider the ramifications. Some of them you can't expect because they're untold, unknown, unforeseen circumstances. However, right now, for some reason, the current regime has decided that they want to solve all their problems by increasing legal immigration. Okay, the Americans have an immigration problem, but it's illegal, non-legal immigration. So in Canada, it's all being processed through the immigration department. The amount of these legal immigrants is the issue. That if there's nowhere for them to go, are we doing them a disservice by welcoming them from their homeland? And are we doing something untoward to the existing population by cramming in more people than we can reasonably accommodate? So the Toronto Dominion Bank put out quite a big thing on July the 26th with 1, 2, 3 of their economists all chiming in with various points of saying, you've gone too far, back off, stop, look what will happen, obviously, if you keep going the way you're going. And so the new minister, 3 days worth of briefing, was asked this question. The Toronto Dominion Bank says it's no good. And he says, I have no vision of a change in the policy because it's not up to him. He's just the spokesminister. Somebody else is pulling the strings. So the idea is there. If there's nowhere to go, why invite more? Someone will finally come along and put in a nice small package that said, here's the solution. Tell them they can come, but they can't come to Toronto. They can't come to Vancouver. They can't come. Well, we'll leave it up to Quebec whether they can go to Montreal. But in the big centers, they're too jam-packed. If they want to go to one of these places that used to have an industry, but now it's closed because of free trade, which was another dumb policy.
Well, Robert,
Okay.
some might be taken aback from that, from what you've just said, because if you're saying, hey, stop immigration to Toronto, stop immigration to Vancouver, it's kind of like forcing people into specific places. But did you know that there are certain countries in the world, countries, not even cities, not even provinces, but there are countries where if you wanted to immigrate to them, good luck doing that. And you can pull up a list, but Japan being one of them, Saudi Arabia, China, Switzerland, Denmark. There's a lot of countries out there that, let's say you got sick and tired of being here and you wanted to go somewhere else. There are places that is very ultra tough, and you'd be lucky to be able to immigrate there. So, I mean, it comes down to the basic fundamentals, as I'm sure you'll agree. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click subscribe and like. If you dislike what we're talking about, that's fine too. Keep in mind, we're all in the same boat. We've all come here from somewhere, but the problem isn't the idea of immigration and giving somebody the opportunity to live in such a fantastic country. No doubt about it. It's the fact that if you immigrate to a country where housing is facing trouble, to save up for a down payment for a decent home in Toronto is already a challenge in itself. But forget about that. Imagine the volumes coming in and there's no housing. How many people can you pack into a condo, into a house, into a rental basement apartment? Where's the end in sight, Robert? Like,
Well,
what's
you said it, and this is a discussion that we have to have because the government tries to reflect the wants and needs of the voting public. If the voting public seems to be saying, bring in all kinds of people, then that's what they're going to advocate. If the voting public says enough, then they'll quit. So if you think it's a bad idea, let them know.
You tell them, or tell them to build more houses. Right? Tell them to remove all the red tape and restrictions. And in our past episode, tell them, be a little bit more lenient on the building up of certain properties, even though they're heritage homes. Give people what they need. Give people the missing middle. Provide a solution. If you're bringing people in, which is fantastic, it's great, and it's part of, I guess, the whole what Canada is all about. Give them a place to live.
Make sure there is housing for them to live in.
Exactly. It's basic. It's basic. Right. So feel free to chime in on this. We'd love to hear from you and, share your story of coming into Canada. And I've shared my story a couple of episodes ago when my parents had to combine with my aunts and uncles and my grandparents all to live in one house. And that's one of many stories of immigration to Canada.
That's how it's done. Yeah, that's how it's done.
Let's make houses available for Canadians and for soon-to-be Canadians. We love watching your comments on Real Estate Chat. So make sure you type in your comments, and I can't wait to hear the comments on this one. Make sure you click like and subscribe, and share with us your feedback and your thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Thank
See you in
you.
the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye for now.